In the early 2000s, before social media ruled our lives, there was a girl named Kaycee Nicole, a 19-year-old who captured hearts online with her kindness, courage, and tragedy. She was beautiful, smart, and dying, or so the world believed. But what if I told you Kaycee Nicole never existed? This is the unbelievable true story of a digital ghost. A girl who lived, loved, and died entirely inside a computer screen. Welcome to Whispers Unsolved. It all began in 1999 when online blogging was new and pure. A place where people shared their souls, not just their selfies. A blog appeared called Living My Life with Leukemia, written by a teenage girl named Kaycee Nicole Swenson. Her posts were emotional. She wrote about her daily fight with cancer, her mother's love, and her dream of becoming a writer if she survived. Readers from around the world connected with her. Thousands left comments of support, encouragement, and prayers. Kaycee wasn't just a blogger. She became a symbol of hope, a young woman battling against impossible odds. Her online friends felt close to her like family. They cried when she cried, they celebrated when her treatments went well, and they mourned when she talked about pain and fear. For 3 years, Kaycee's story unfolded online, each post drawing people deeper in her world. And then, one spring evening in May 2001, her blog went silent. A short, heartbreaking message appeared. Kaycee passed away last night. Thank you for loving her. Thousands wept for a girl they'd never met. Tributes flooded the web. Online communities lit virtual candles. Kaycee Nicole had become the first internet saint, but a few readers began to ask, something that would change everything. Where's the obituary? At first, the grief drowned out all suspicion. Who would question a tragedy? But days turned into weeks, and no one could find any record of Kaycee's death. No funeral notice, no hospital, no hometown friends. People searched Kansas phone books, contacted hospitals. Nothing. It was as if Kaycee Nicole never existed. Still, her online mother, a woman named Debbie Swenson, kept posting in her memory. She shared emotional updates about her loss, thanking everyone for their kindness. But small inconsistencies began to appear. Her stories changed slightly each time. The details didn't match public records. Then, someone noticed something strange. The photos of Kaycee, the ones everyone had seen for years, didn't seem to belong to her. One user reverse searched them, back when that was rare, and found the truth. The images weren't of Kaycee Nicole. They belonged to a young woman in Oklahoma, completely unaware that her pictures had been stolen. And with that discovery, the entire illusion came crashing down. In May 2001, a journalist named Jesse James Garrett and several online sleuths confronted Debbie Swenson. At first, she denied everything. Then, she broke down. Yes, she admitted, Kaycee Nicole never existed. She had made her up. For nearly 3 years, Debbie, a 40-year-old mother living in Kansas, had created an elaborate online world. She wrote as both herself and her imaginary daughter, managing emails, chats, and blog posts simultaneously. She faked hospital updates, faked treatments, even sent messages from Kaycee's friends to make it all seem real. When followers grew attached, she claimed Kaycee was dying, and when the emotional pressure peaked, she staged her death online. But why? That was the haunting part. When questioned, Debbie said she did it to inspire people. That Kaycee represented hope and strength, something she herself lacked. But psychologists later said it was much darker. Debbie had crafted Kaycee as a version of herself, the daughter she wished she had, or perhaps the person she wanted to be. Through Kaycee, she received endless love, sympathy, and validation from strangers online. She wasn't selling anything. She wasn't stealing money. Her addiction was attention. This kind of behavior would later be labeled as Munchausen by internet, a psychological condition where someone fakes illness or tragedy online for emotional gain. But back in 2001, no one had ever seen anything like it. The internet wasn't ready for a lie this big. When the truth broke, the internet turned from grief to anger overnight. People felt betrayed. Support groups that had formed around Kaycee's story fell apart. Donors who'd sent care packages and letters were devastated. Even those who'd never met her felt heartbreak, because she represented something pure, something hopeful. And now it was all fiction. News outlets covered it everywhere, calling it the first great internet hoax. Debbie Swinson was questioned by police, but since she hadn't stolen money or committed fraud, she wasn't charged. She simply disappeared from public life. But her story changed the internet forever. It became a cautionary tale about how easily people can believe, and how powerful emotional storytelling can be, even when it's built on lies. Today, more than 2 decades later, Kaycee Nicole's story feels strangely prophetic. In a world of influencers, fake personas, and digital illusions, her story predicted what was coming. People create identities online every day, some harmless, some manipulative, some devastating. Kaycee's story reminds us to question, to feel, and to understand the psychology behind deception. She may not have existed physically, but her impact was real. In a way, Kaycee Nicole did live, not as a person, but as a mirror to our collective desire to believe. In the end, Kaycee Nicole wasn't a teenager fighting cancer. She was a fiction, born from loneliness, powered by empathy, and buried in pixels. But her story still whispers through the web, reminding us that even lies can touch hearts, and that sometimes the scariest mysteries are the ones that never really existed. This was the story of Kaycee Nicole, the girl who never existed. If you found this story haunting, subscribe to Whispers Unsolved, where every mystery finds a voice.